But the story didn't end there. In the weeks following Marcus's sentencing, investigators uncovered something that forced everyone to reconsider what they thought they knew. Sarah's laptop, sealed as evidence, was finally examined by forensic specialists. What they found inside painted a picture far more complicated than anyone imagined. There were emails, dozens of them, sent from Sarah's account to Marcus. But the timestamps didn't match her known schedule. Some were sent at 3 a.m., others during school hours when she was teaching. The language was different too, more desperate, more possessive. One email read, "I can't stop thinking about you. Meet me tonight. Don't tell anyone." But Sarah's close friend Lauren swore she never talked like that. She was cautious, even paranoid about her professional reputation. So who was really behind those messages? Detectives pulled security footage from Sarah's apartment complex. On 3 separate occasions, a figure was seen entering her building late at night, always hooded, always careful to avoid the cameras. The build didn't match Marcus. It was broader, older. And then came the phone records. Sarah had been receiving calls from an unlisted number, sometimes multiple times a day, in the months leading up to her death. The calls were short, under a minute, like check-ins or threats. Marcus's phone was never linked to that number. So the question investigators were now forced to ask was this: was Sarah running from someone else entirely? And if so, did Marcus walk into something he was never meant to be part of? His name was David Callahan. He was 41 years old, a substitute teacher who had worked at Maple Ridge High intermittently over the past 2 years. Quiet, polite, forgettable. But Sarah's co-workers remembered him differently. One teacher recalled how David would linger outside Sarah's classroom, watching through the door window. Another mentioned how he'd volunteered to cover her classes multiple times, always asking about her personal life. Lauren, Sarah's best friend, finally came forward with something she'd been too scared to say before. She told detectives that Sarah had confided in her about a man who made her uncomfortable, someone who texted her late at night, who knew things about her schedule that he shouldn't. Sarah never said his name, but she did say this: "He won't leave me alone. I think he's obsessed with me." When investigators searched David's home, they found a wall covered in photographs of Sarah. Some were printed from social media. Others were taken without her knowledge, outside her apartment, at the grocery store, in her car. There were notes, too, scribbled in margins, planning encounters, rehearsing conversations. And in a drawer, hidden beneath old textbooks, they found a knife identical to the one used in the murder. But here's where it gets chilling. David had an alibi. He was at a family dinner the night Sarah died, verified by multiple witnesses. So if he didn't kill her, what was he planning? And did Marcus somehow become the weapon in a crime orchestrated by someone else? Detectives revisited Marcus's testimony. At first, his story seemed straightforward. He loved her, she rejected him, he snapped. But under closer examination, inconsistencies emerged. Marcus claimed he brought a sketchbook and a letter that night. But neither were found at the scene. He said he picked up the knife in a moment of rage, but the knife was clean, no fingerprints, wiped down. And then there was the letter Marcus mentioned, the one he said he wanted to give Sarah. Investigators finally found it, not at the scene, but in David Callahan's car, tucked inside a folder labeled Project M. The letter was written in Marcus's handwriting, but the content was strange, coached, like someone had told him what to say. It read, "I can't live without you. If I can't have you, no one can." Those words matched almost exactly a text David had sent to Sarah weeks earlier. Detectives brought Marcus back in for questioning. This time they asked different questions. Did anyone encourage you to visit Sarah that night? Did anyone tell you what to say? Marcus broke down. He admitted that David had been messaging him for weeks, posing as a mentor, someone who understood his feelings for Sarah. David told Marcus that Sarah loved him too, but was scared to admit it. He convinced Marcus to confront her, to make a grand gesture, to show her how much he cared. And on that Friday night, David sent Marcus one final message. Tonight's the night. Don't let her push you away. Marcus walked into that classroom believing he was fighting for love. He had no idea he was walking into a trap. David Callahan was arrested and charged with first-degree murder through manipulation and conspiracy. The prosecution argued that he orchestrated the entire crime, using Marcus as a pawn to eliminate Sarah after she repeatedly rejected his advances. Marcus's charges were reduced to manslaughter. His defense argued he was a victim of psychological manipulation, groomed not by Sarah, but by David. The trial became a media sensation. Maple Ridge, once a town known for its quiet charm, was now the center of a national conversation about obsession, manipulation, and how easily a vulnerable mind can be weaponized. Witnesses testified about David's obsession. His history revealed a pattern. He'd been fired from 2 previous schools for inappropriate behavior toward female staff members. Sarah wasn't his first target. She was just the first who said no loud enough to threaten him. In the end, David was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Marcus was sentenced to 8 years in a psychiatric facility with mandatory therapy and supervision. The judge's final words echoed through the courtroom. 2 lives were destroyed that night, one by obsession, one by manipulation, and the only person who walked away unscathed was the one who planned it all. Maple Ridge struggled to heal. Sarah's family established a foundation in her name, dedicated to protecting teachers and students from predatory behavior. Lauren became an advocate, speaking at schools about recognizing manipulation and grooming, not just of students, but of anyone vulnerable. Marcus, now in his mid-20s, completed his sentence and was released under strict supervision. He moved to a different province, far from Maple Ridge, and began working with at-risk youth, sharing his story as a warning. In a rare interview, he said, "I thought I was in love. I thought I was doing the right thing. I didn't realize I was being used until it was too late. If my story can save even one person from making the same mistake, then maybe Sarah's death wasn't completely in vain." David Callahan, locked away for life, never showed remorse. In his only statement, he said, "She should have just said yes." The town erected a memorial bench outside Maple Ridge High, engraved with Sarah's name and a simple phrase, "She tried to save them all." And every year, on the anniversary of her death, students and teachers gather there to remember not just the tragedy, but the lesson that sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one no one's watching. So here's the question we leave you with. How many people in your life do you truly see? Not just the ones who speak loudest, but the ones who watch, who wait, who hide in plain sight. Sarah Mitchell wanted to help a troubled student. She never saw the man watching from the shadows. Marcus Johnson wanted to be loved. He never saw the man pulling the strings. And David Callahan? He saw everything. And that's what made him so dangerous. If this story made you feel something, if it made you think twice about the people around you, leave a comment below. Tell us, have you ever felt watched? Have you ever ignored a red flag because someone seemed harmless? We want to hear your stories. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe, because every week we bring you real stories that remind us just how fragile trust really is.